Being the lead character of an anime can cause a lot of stress. You always have crazy bad guys attacking you and your friends. Sometimes you have to witness horrible things. You also have to constantly gel your hair to keep that spiky look that's all the rage in the anime world. With all that pressure, it's unsurprising that these characters often lose their nerve. Whether it's a rage that unlocks a new form, a psychotic breakdown, or just plain giving up, sometimes our heroes go a little nutty. So let's look at some of the times our favorite anime characters had an intense breakdown. So let's start off with the most obvious one here. Dragon Ball Z is one of the most famous anime series of all time. In its most popular arc, the Frieza saga, our heroes find themselves on an alien planet called Namek. There they take on the ultimate evil of the galaxy, Frieza. In one of the greatest scenes in the entire Dragon Ball franchise, Frieza decides to start attacking Goku's friends. After Frieza makes Krillin explode, Goku gets understandably angry. This anger leads him to unlock a hidden potential within himself. His hair goes golden as his power increases exponentially. Frieza looks on in horror as he's confronted by his greatest fear, a Super Saiyan. The battle itself is still considered by many to be the show's greatest fight. While Dragon Ball Z is more of an ensemble piece with Goku as the lead, Dragon Ball Super focuses on both Goku and Vegeta. The two spend most of the anime as the galaxy's greatest frenemy tag team. Vegeta showed that he meant business pretty early on in Super. While at a party being thrown by his wife Bulma, the god of destruction Beerus stops by. Normally, Vegeta wouldn't be intimidated by an uninvited guest, but Beerus is one of the most feared beings in the universe. His reverence meets its limit when Beerus attacks Bulma for disrespecting him, and Vegeta shows his true colors as he attacks Beerus in Super Saiyan form. It doesn't go well for him, but that doesn't stop it from being one of Vegeta's most intense but sweet moments. One Piece is one of the most legendary anime of all time. The story of the Straw Hat Pirates led by their stretchy captain Luffy has given us over 800 episodes of awesome. While One Piece is pretty fun most of the time, it does get pretty intense at times. One of the best examples of this is when the gang battles Kuma. Unknown to all of them, Kuma has the ability to teleport people far away. So every time he makes one of the pirates disappear, Luffy thinks that they're gone forever. After each disappearance, Luffy attacks with more and more ferocity. Once the last of his crew are taken away though, Luffy loses all of his will to fight. Instead of doing the standard anime thing and entering a rage mode, he gives up. It's such a sad moment for such a happy-go-lucky character. In the early days of Naruto, many didn't know how to feel about the titular main character. The obnoxious blonde ninja wasn't as instantly likable as characters like Luffy and Goku. Naruto's anime lead's street cred got solidified on his very first ninja mission with his new team. The simple escort mission gets complicated when they're attacked by a pair of ninjas named Zabuza and Haku. In their second confrontation, Naruto and his teammate Sasuke take on the mysterious Haku. They get trapped inside his circle of ice mirrors where he could attack at impossible speeds by flying from mirror to mirror. After Haku takes out Sasuke, an enraged Naruto gains a new level of power. You see, he was bonded with a fox demon as a child, and can now draw on its power in times of need. He uses this amazing power to shatter the seemingly unbreakable mirrors and win the fight. Some anime take a while to connect with fans. They have to spend a few years developing the characters and the world before fans really latch on. Then there's Attack on Titan, which instantly became one of the most popular anime out there. Some would even consider it a legendary anime. Trust us, it's that good. The story of humanity fighting to survive against a horde of mindless titans was thrilling from episode 1. One of the best moments of the early episodes came when it looked like the lead character Eren was eaten by a titan. It turns out he was still alive in the Titan's mouth the whole time, and Eren gets so enraged by his apparent defeat that he surprisingly turns into a Titan himself. He then goes on an epic rampage, taking out several Titans by himself. As far as freakouts go, this was one of the more productive ones. Bleach is one of the greatest shonen TV shows. It's basically about a society of Grim Reaper samurai with absurdly large swords. Bleach's lead, Ichigo, loses it in pretty much every episode. He has a bit of an anger issue. There's one episode where he gets a little crazy though. While battling the legendary Byakuya, Ichigo undergoes a change. If you haven't noticed, that tends to happen a lot when anime leads are losing a fight. This time, though, instead of getting an awesome new form, he goes psycho. A mask forms over his face and he starts laughing like the Joker as he attacks Byakuya savagely. Berserk is known for being one of the darkest anime of all time. It's so violent that we can't even really go into too much detail about it on this channel. In one of Berserk's most intense moments, the lead character Guts gets betrayed by his former ally Griffith. What happens next is some nightmare-inducing horror. Guts' arm is grabbed by a monster, and he's forced to watch as his friends are attacked. He tries to attack the monster with his sword, but it's no use. Finally, he realizes there's another way out. If you've seen the movie 127 Hours, you know where this is going. Let's just say that he walks out of the situation with one less hand than he walked into it with. If you were a kid in the 90s or Ryan Reynolds in 2019, Pokémon was a big part of your life. It's a world where kids capture colorful monsters and battle them for sport. Great idea for an anime or video game, but a severe animal rights violation in real life. In the first Pokémon movie, the main character Ash Ketchum broke all the rules. While the Pokémon were fighting the evil Mewtwo, Ash decided to get real and attack the psychic monster himself. He was tossed away like a fly, but that didn't stop him from trying again. This time, though, he got caught in the crossfire. The blasts from both Mew and Mewtwo caused Ash to turn to stone. It took the tears of all the Pokémon to bring him back to life again. Han Solo definitely could have used a few Pokémon tears when he got turned to stone. My Hero Academia arrived at the perfect time. What could be better right now than an anime about a school for superheroes? It's basically like Harry Potter meets the Avengers. My Hero Academia's main character Deku has made quite the impression on anime fans. Unlike many heroes, Deku wasn't born with any special abilities. He gains the power and strength of One for All, but not invulnerability. That means that anytime he uses the quirk, he's probably going to break something. Usually he uses only a little bit at a time, but occasionally he goes all out. When his class was taking a supposedly innocent camping trip, they got attacked by the League of Villains. During the attack, Deku goes up against a villain named Muscular, who can alter his own muscles at will. Deku is obviously outmatched from the start. The only way he can come out on top is to go all out with a full-powered punch that sends the villain flying. But Deku's arm wasn't in too great shape afterwards. The Major from Ghost in the Shell is known for being a lot calmer than a lot of anime leads. She's not one for unnecessary rage. When she does get mad though, watch out. In Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the Major definitely lets her rage out on a bad guy. She and her partner Bato get attacked by an invisible bad guy in a giant robot suit. She tells him to make a run for it while she takes it on, but it doesn't go well for her at first. The robot blows her robotic arm off and nearly destroys her. Luckily, her team arrives and takes down the robot. But the Major wasn't done yet. She asked for her sniper's giant rifle and fires it at the robot with one hand. The dude inside is pleading for her to stop as she continually cocks the gun and fires again and again. So how could we explain something like Neon Genesis Evangelion? In simple terms, it's about a group of kids in giant robot suits that fight other giant robots called angels. That's pretty much it if you remove all the religious symbolism and the fact that it has multiple endings. One of the most unexpected moments in the series comes when the main character Shinji's robotic EVA unit starts acting without him. The unit has done this before, but this time it gets vicious. It looks like they lost their fight with an angel, but then the EVA gets up and attacks the angel. Not only does it defeat the monster, but it actually consumes it afterwards while Shinji watches helplessly. Nothing could possibly be more serious than a children's card game. That's how real adults handle their problems. Well, that's how they do it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway. Things got super real when the main character Yugi gets into a duel with a guy named Weevil. You see, Yugi shares his body with the soul of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh who also plays the card game. The pharaoh was in control of his body while dueling Weevil. The little twerp led him to believe that he destroyed Yugi's soul, so the pharaoh didn't take that too well. Not only did he defeat Weevil, but he continuously attacked him long after he was out of hit points. It's one of the most vicious defeats in the entire series. Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop is one of the coolest guys in anime history. Whether he was hunting bounties, saving lives, or engaging in well-choreographed fight scenes, he rarely ever lost his cool. Evidently, his cool can only really be challenged when someone mistakes him for his arch-nemesis, Vicious. A group of street thugs tried to mug Spike, but they called him Vicious instead. He then proceeded to beat them up in a much more brutal fashion than normal. It took him less than a minute to take down like half a dozen armored thugs. Even for Spike, that's impressive. One Punch Man is a superhero and anime parody that's so effective it's an awesome superhero anime in its own right. Basically, the hero Saitama is so powerful that he's bored of how easily he can defeat any foe with one punch. You'd think that this wouldn't make for good action, but it never really gets old. Things looked like they were gonna finally get real when he came up against the monstrous Carnage Kabuto. Luckily for us, things did get real, just not in the way we expected. In the middle of the fight, Saitama let out a scream of horror. It wasn't about the monster he was fighting, though. In reality, he just realized that he was missing a sale at his favorite grocery store. He uses his trademark punch to end the fight immediately so that he can try to make it in time. Hunter x Hunter is about a kid named Gon who decides to become a hunter like his dad. He's a delightful character, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have his share of dark moments. Things got really dark when he fought against the cat person Pito, and he reveals his incredibly muscular form. Then Gon leads Pito out of the hideout they were in towards the woods because he doesn't want to destroy it. That proves to be a wise choice as he hits Pito so hard that Pito flies through dozens of trees. Gon then gets in close and finishes Pito off at close range. You know it's an awesome fight when only half a forest is left standing afterwards. Most of the time when a lead character loses it in an anime, it's due to extreme stress during a fight. These moments usually come during a battle midway through the series. Then there's Light from Death Note, who loses his mind almost immediately. You see, Light finds this magical notebook that allows him to take the life of anyone whose name he writes inside it. Instead of being terrified by this power, he immediately goes nuts and starts thinking of himself as a god. He goes on a rampage as he writes down the names of criminals and evildoers he thinks don't deserve to live. Not only that, but he does it with a psychopathic grin on his face. Castlevania is a show about Dracula finding love and reforming his evil ways. Well, in the first episode, once his wife is taken away by an angry mob, Dracula goes right back to all the evil stuff. He appears to the people who attacked his wife in a giant ball of fire. Then he warns them that they have 1 year left before he destroys the world. Look, Dracula, we know that greed can be hard, but destroying the world isn't going to solve anything. Luckily, Trevor and the gang manage to stop him. But not before he goes on quite the unholy rampage with his army of monsters. In the first Naruto anime, Orochimaru tries and fails to take on the Hidden Leaf Village. In Naruto Shippuden, Pain manages to one-up Orochimaru in a grand fashion. He takes on the entire village without really breaking a sweat. Luckily, Naruto arrives on the scene, but even he seems outmatched. In a moment of horrible timing, Hinata decides to finally confess her love to Naruto. Unfortunately, Pain takes her out seconds later. This prompts Naruto to totally give in to the nine-tailed fox and attack Pain in his six-tailed demon form. While this seemed like it was the turning point of the battle, it actually played into Pain's hand. It wasn't until Naruto learned to handle his pain and fight as himself and not the demon did he gain victory and save the village. A lot of people were worried about Netflix putting out anime content. Some were worried the streaming service would only go for safe, family-friendly projects. They were worried that the service wouldn't push the anime genre in artistic or gritty ways like other classics had. Then Devilman Crybaby came out and people's worries on the subject were silenced forever. Devilman Crybaby starts like a lot of other anime. There's a lonely boy named Akira who gets introduced to a supernatural world of demons by his old friend Ryo. The two decide to go to a rave called the Sabbath where Ryo hopes to prove that demons exist. Well, he certainly gets his wish. Ryo then goes nuts and begins attacking people, which makes several demons appear. The demons then attack until none of the partygoers are left standing. To be fair, Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood loses it pretty often. If there was an anime anger management, he and Ichigo from Bleach would be legally forced to attend. Throughout the series, Ed freaks out on people, often due to them insulting his small stature. There's one freakout that dwarfs all the rest though. While investigating an artifact known as the Philosopher's Stone, they consult an alchemist named Shu Tucker. During their time with him, they bond with his daughter Nina and her dog Alexander. Once Ed and his brother figure out that Shu's been doing immoral experiments, they rush to confront him. Ed eventually breaks down as he realizes there's nothing he can do. It's one of the most depressing and disturbing moments in anime history. So naturally, there are a ton of hilarious memes about it. The internet is a weird place. So there you have it, some of the times our favorite anime characters lost their marbles a bit. Did we miss any of your favorite moments? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to CBR for more of your favorite anime content. Thanks for watching.